Okay, so welcome to the start of your week. This is your business builder session. Now, if you are catching this live, this is because this is going to show you how to break out of the feast and famine cycle. For those of you here, you're about to get a really in-depth understanding on why what you're doing here works and how to do it more efficiently and effectively. So normally you would get here, we would share our screens and I'd be watching you as you do your client attraction activities and you'd be asking questions and getting guidance in real time. But today's a little bit different. So please shut down your profiles and get really clear, because if you want to keep expanding your business, the next 10 minutes is going to be a game changer for you. All right, so hopefully you can all see my screen. Yes, we know that Shani's become a bit fanatical with the old iPad, but many of you are sharing with me that the visuals really help. So this is going to make a big difference. Okay, the reason coaches and consultants are in feast or famine months is because you typically have your vision and it's only as expansive as a week, sometimes a month. Here's what you're doing on social media and particularly what you're doing here in these sessions. So here is social media. Now, this might be Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, but there is social media. From your platform, let's just use Facebook for the sake of Facebook, but again, it'll be LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever. But from Facebook, you have a profile. This profile is actually like your speaker stage. This is where you get to stand on stage and share your message virtually. So you have to make sure you've got people inside of your stage hall. But not just any people. It has to be the people that are going to convert to clients for you. And most coaches and consultants on social media are guessing. In fact, before you got here, you were also guessing. That's partly why you've come to the business builder sessions. But I'm about to show you a whole new world. So remembering that this is either Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, but for the sake of this conversation, we're going to say it's Facebook. On Facebook, you need to find your people to bring them into your speaker hall. You've been told to go into groups on Facebook to find your people. These are all the different groups you might be hanging out in. The purpose of you being in these groups is that you find your people, connect with them meaningfully, which many people on social media are not doing. You've got the best of intentions. It's not working. You find your people and you bring them into your speaker hall. Here's where you fall down and here's why you're in feast and famine. You go into these random groups that you don't even know if your problem-aware, solution-seeking people are in those groups, and then you go and add people at random with no strategy. Going and adding 100 people a day or a week is not the way to do it. This is not a numbers game. You don't want to be treated like a number, so let's stop treating others like a number. But you can use numbers to inform you on who you add and connect with. Here's what I mean. Here's my attempt at drawing two buckets. These are buckets. I know it doesn't look like it. I'm not here to win an award on drawing. Yes? Okay. These buckets represent two portions of your target audience. Now, what we know statistically is this. Inside of your target audience, you are only here to find your 10%, your 3% and your 7%. What does that mean? If you're a relationship coach and you serve women over 40 who have just come out of a divorce, let's say that's your target audience. Inside of that target audience, there might be 3 million people. There might be 3 million women right now over 40 who have just come out of a divorce in the world. But not all 3 million are your people. Inside of that 3 million target audience, you're looking for 2 types of people. You're looking for your 3%. These are people, these are women, 40, divorced, who are problem aware and solution seeking right now. Right now. They know they've got the problem that you help them with. They're ready for a solution. They're ready to pay for it and do the work. They will convert for you straight away if you make meaningful connections with them. Here's time. In addition to your 3%, you're also looking to connect with your 7%. These are the people inside of your target audience who fit the profile, but they aren't ready to convert with you right now. They're problem aware, pardon me, but they're not solution seeking right now, but they will be. They're open, they're semi-ready, they're looking for education on what's the best solution. Or they're made up of people who are currently working with a coach to solve the problem. But when they're finished with this coach, they will come to you and they turn into your 3%. Now, down the bottom is time. Here is the present moment. If you've done your job properly and done the work here with me, then you've gone into the Facebook group or the hashtag where your 10% is. You're making connections and bringing them into your speaker hall, that being your social media profile. The strategies and the processes that you learn here in Business Builder and in your one-on-one work with me give you a way to connect with your 3% and your 7% meaningfully. And here's what I mean. Every time a new person joins your speaker hall, you should be directly connecting with them. We do that in a DM. You use the DM sequence that you learn with me. If you're connecting with every new friend, you very quickly find your 3%, because in those 4 messages that we set up for you, in 4 DMs, this brings in your 3% immediately that book calls and connect with you in the present moment. But in addition to that, through creating a conversation, you also get clear on who is your 7%. And you know who to continue to meaningfully nurture. Some of you here today have been my 7% and I've meaningfully nurtured you, yes? Others of you were 3% and converted straight away. Ash is like, yes, that's me. And that happened through a connection in a conversation in DMs, using the processes that you get from me. Now, here's what happens. Most coaches and consultants are in feast or famine because you've got your eye on your 3% and you kind of go into grabbing mode. Oh, they don't want me now, forget them, move on, treat them like a number. And I know that's not your intention, but that's what's been happening. And then you say, it's not working. But if you're not in conversation, then you can't find your 3%. People don't know you have an offer unless you meaningfully connect and make that offer, but not in a spammy way, not in a salesy way, not in a slammy way, in the connected process that you learn from me. If you don't want to be in feast or famine, you are wise to also put your attention into connecting consistently with your 7%. And here's why. Your 7% convert organically with around 10 to 15 touch points. If you're thinking about running Facebook ads because you're trying to delegate a problem of client attraction, don't even think about it, because these touch points when you run ads go up to about 60. People don't trust you when you're an ad. So if you can't get this right organically, don't even think about going to Facebook ads. You're going to burn your cash. Your 7% turns into your 3% over time. This is where consistent feast months come in. Now, how do they turn into your 3%? These lines represent the touch points over time. The touch points are when you comment on their content, share your own content, create conversations with them. These are touch points, right? But let me give you a visual representation of what happens. So inside of your 10%, here's a whole bunch of people that are in your speaker hall that are your 7%. We're going to use John Mayer as an example. John Mayer is in my 7% because Shani loves John Mayer. And one day he will know that he loves me too. Okay, so John Mayer, I bring John Mayer into my speaker hall and I send John Mayer a message, but John Mayer's not ready to connect and convert yet. He needs a little more warming up. So I share a piece of content. Here's one touch point. John Mayer sees that piece of content. So he gets one touch point today. Tomorrow I share a piece of content, but John Mayer's busy. He's off playing a gig. So he didn't open up Facebook today. So he doesn't get this touch point. And in fact, he doesn't get the next 3 times that I share content because he's off doing his own thing. My content didn't come up in his feed. Next week, I share another piece of content. John Mayer sees it because he's hanging out on the couch relaxing after a busy week of gigging. He opens up his profile and he sees it. So can you see that out of 5 times that I've made a piece of content and shared it, your 7% might only see it in 2 of those times. In addition to that, I go and make a comment on John Mayer's content today. So now that's a 3rd touch point. This is the long game as well as the quick win game. Your quick wins are here in your 3%. You also are here in Business Builder to meaningfully nurture your 7% so that over time they convert to your offer. But it's how you're doing what you're doing here that makes the difference. Most of you have been given strategy. The strategy you've learned here is not really very different to what you've been taught before. But would you agree that what's different is how we're connecting? This is what's bringing people into your DMs. You're learning how to stand out and make comments that connect and convert. You're learning which groups to be in that actually have your 3% and your 7%. You're getting sparky ideas to share content so that every time you share it, you maximize the engagement, the connection, and your 7% eventually convert into your 3. But in addition to that, being here, you also learn to solve the problems of your future that you don't even know are coming yet. Because when you're here in real time doing your client attraction and you hear other community members asking questions, you also get to solve those problems. So now you have the solutions of the collective community. Most coaches and consultants are in famine because you're focused on your 3% and you're not worrying about how to stay engaged, connected with your 7%. A lot of the work that we do here is about building long-term success for you by staying connected with your 10% target audience. So if you've been wondering how this works, why it works, and what to do, I hope that that gives you a really clear picture on what's going on. Your results are a demonstration of the consistency that you put in. You can't be Casper the Ghost on social media. We don't know that you're there. But you also can't show up and be spammy Sally. The shit that you've done up until this point, that's why you're here, because it's not working. You just drown out with all of the other people trying to do the same thing, which is spammy comments, spammy DMs, and shitty content. You know, every time you share a piece of content that's crap, you're actually training your audience to scroll past your next piece of content. Because they learned the last time that it wasn't worth their time. So then each time they see you, you're becoming part of their noise otherwise. So that is why we are in Business Builder. That is why we're here to connect. And that is why we learn principles inside of the strategy. And that's why you've got people coming into your DMs, booking calls and reaching out to you. I'm going to stop live streaming now. For those of you that are watching live, I'm actually going to pop a link in the comments below. If you want to come and join Business Builder, now is the time to do it. Stop drowning out. You absolutely deserve to be seen for the service provider that you are. All right, I will stop the stream. I actually don't know. Okay, here we go.